Hello everybody! Welcome back to Unit 8 from Grade Time 5. Hope you are all doing fine. And for now, we're going to continue working with the grammar topics of this unit, right? So, remember that the last time we talked, we were discussing and actually reviewing the topic on the conditionals. And then we reviewed the structure and the meaning of the 0, first, second, and third conditions. For now, we're going to see that there are actually more possible ways of using conditionals, okay? I don't want to use different words right now because I want to show you and give you the opportunity to understand what I'm talking about, okay? So, for starters, for those who have their books on with them, we are on page 77, right? And we're going to start taking a look at this part here called mixed conditionals. And then you might be thinking, what does it mean to think of mixed conditionals? And that's exactly the point of our video now, okay? So, for us to start, I would really like you to start doing exercise number 1, only number 1 for now. And for this exercise to work, you will have to go back to your study guide and listen to this track here, 2.09, about the lists. Remember the interview about the top 10 lists and why lists are important for people, right? So, you will listen to this track and you will try to complete these 2 sentences here with these words or expressions. So you had, were, would have, and would, okay? And you have sentences number 1 and 2. So for now, pause this video, listen to track 2.09, and try to complete the sentences. When you are done, you come back here for us to listen to the sentences, check them, and continue with the next exercises. All right? So, good luck. All right, guys. So, for us to check these 2 sentences, I'm gonna play track 2.10, which is not the whole conversation, but just these 2 sentences over here, okay? So let's listen and then you check if you got your answers right, and later I'm gonna type them in, okay? So let's listen for now.
1. If I were more organized, I would have made a list. 2. If I had made a list, then maybe I would know what to buy.
All right, so could you get these answers correct? Let's check them together. So, if I were more organized, I would have made a list. And if I had made a list, then I would know what to buy. Okay, so let's check over here. Well done, very good. And then let's listen once more, okay? So, less time for us to listen. So, pay attention.
1. If I were more organized, I would have made a list. 2. If I had made a list, then maybe I would know what to buy.
Okay. Hope you could get them correct this turn. So now, after you have corrected sentences number 1 and 2, if you need it, I want you to take a closer look at exercise number 2 over here. In this exercise, we need to look at the sentence again. So sentences 1 and 2 in exercise 1. Find the second and third conditional parts in each one. And then you need to match them to the sentences in the rule. So we have the rule here. I am going to read the rule, and after that you're going to pause the video and try to decide if number 1 or number 2 completes each one of the concepts, okay? So the rule says sometimes we mix second and third conditional forms so that we can connect present and past actions, all right? And then we have these two different concepts here. So, to talk about the present result of an unreal or imagined past action, we use this structure. If plus had plus past participle, and then would, or just the apostrophe D, plus the verb, okay? Which sentence, number 1 or 2, fulfills the same idea, okay? That's on you. And the second concept of this rule says to talk about the past result of an unreal or hypothetical present situation or fact, we use if plus simple past, would, or apostrophe D, have, plus past participle. And which one of the sentences? 1 or 2? So now I want you to pause the video, go back to the sentences, try to analyze what are the second and third conditional parts in each one of them, and then match, put the number over here. If number 1, if sentence number 1 is connected to this concept, or 1 or 2 here connected to this point, this concept over here, okay? Then come back here for us to check, all right? Good luck, guys. All right, so how was that? Did you find it difficult to analyze and match the two concepts to the two sentences? Let's check them together. So remember, we have sentence number 1. If I were more organized, I would have made a list. And 2, if I had made a list, then I would know what to buy. And then we have the rule completed. So we have to talk about the present result of an unreal or imagined past action, we use if plus had plus past participle and would plus the verb. Which sentence shows this structure? Number 2, because here we have if, had, made is the past participle of the verb make, and then in the second part we have would and the verb in the infinitive, right? Just like in this one, okay? And the second concept says that to talk about the past result of an unreal or hypothetical present situation or fact, we use if plus simple past, would, have, plus past participle. And then this is sentence number 1. If we go back there, we can check all of these structures. So, if I were, so were, if, simple past here in were. Second part, would have, just like here. Past participle, made, of the verb make. And that's it. I thought it was something more, okay? So, maybe these concepts, they are not that clear to understand, okay? And for now, I'm going to show you some other examples to try to help you out understand better this idea of mixing the two conditions, okay? So, bear with me and I'll be back. And here we are. So, talking about conditionals, it's very important to use examples, okay? Because conditionals, they are very, sometimes they can be very complex to understand, because here we are talking about imaginative things, okay? So things that are not real. We're not talking about the sun is yellow, the sky is blue. We're not talking about facts. We're talking about possibilities, right? So we have here, we should have here, I don't know what's going on. Okay, now it's working. So we have here one example of a second conditional. So if I didn't have a degree, I wouldn't be a teacher. Okay, and one example of a third conditional. If I hadn't gone to university, I wouldn't have received my degree, right? So, two examples. Let's analyze the structure of these two examples. So, in the second conditional, we have if I didn't have, so simple past, if plus simple past, and the second part is would plus a verb. This is the classic second conditional. Let's check the classic structure of the third conditional. If I hadn't gone, so past perfect, right? I wouldn't have received. So would plus have plus past participle. Okay, so these are the classic structures of second and third conditions. Now, let's try to analyze how a mixed conditional, how does a mixed conditional work? Okay, so mixed conditionals usually enclose second and third mixed parts, right? And here I have one example for you. So if I hadn't gone to university, so past perfect, meaning we're talking about the part, right, the structure of the third conditional, I wouldn't be a teacher, right? So wouldn't be is the structure of the second conditional. Let's take an even closer look to this analysis, okay? So here we have the same sentence. So if I hadn't gone to university means that we're talking about a hypothetical past action, right? And it means that we have a past fact. I went to university, but I am imagining that in the past, if I hadn't gone to university, I wouldn't be a teacher, which is a hypothetical present result, because the fact in the present is, I need to move myself here for you to look, to see me. So let's take a closer look at another example, okay? So here we have, if I knew it was going to be this cold, I would have brought a warmer coat, okay? So continuing here the same analysis we were doing, we have, if I knew it was going to be this cold, this is the hypothetical present action. Why? Because the present fact is it's colder than I imagined in a situation that, well, I couldn't know this. And the hypothetical past result is would have brought, because the past fact is I didn't bring a warmer coat. All right, guys. So you see that you can mix both of conditionals, right? Parts of both conditionals, second and third, to give different meaning to each one of the situations, if it's a past or present fact or result. All right? So now we're going to go back to our book. Let's see here. Lots of things open here. Oops. Here. Now we're here. Good. And now we're going to take a look at this third exercise you have on page 77, right? And in this exercise, what you have to do, you have to write mixed conditional sentences to describe these situations. And then we have the sentence 0, which is an example. Then we have the situation. I don't have any money, present. I didn't buy that phone, past. So I need to connect these two ideas. So if I had some money, I would have bought that phone. Okay? And then you need to follow the same pattern, the same idea, right? For sentences 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Remember, guys, if you can't see how to connect the sentences, go back to the rule and try to understand if the situation over here is talking about a present result of an unreal past action or a past result of an unreal present situation or fact. Okay? So, good luck. And then, when you're done, come back here for us to check. Good luck. Alright, guys. So, let's check our answers. Then, we have here number 1. Anna and Dan had a big argument. They aren't talking to each other. So, if Anna and Dan hadn't had a big argument, they would be talking to each other. Okay? Let's continue. Number 2. We didn't leave early. That's why we're late now. So, if we had left early, we wouldn't be late now, right? Very similar to sentence number 1. Now, I don't have a good memory. I forgot her birthday. Okay, so if I had a good memory, I wouldn't have forgotten her birthday, right? But I don't have a good memory. But if I had, I wouldn't have forgotten, right? Then 4, I didn't eat breakfast. Now I am hungry. So if I had eaten, if I had eaten breakfast, I wouldn't be hungry now. And finally, number 5, we have, he didn't listen to the explanation. He can't do the homework. So if he had listened to the explanation, he would be able to do the homework, right? Or, yeah, remember, we can't use would and can, okay? So when we have to connect the idea of ability with would, we need to change for be able to, okay? So if he had listened, very important. If he had listened to the explanation, let's try he'd be able to do the homework. All right? So let's check and see if we got them right. Lots of mistakes, and I don't know what's the problem. So I believe the problem is the contractions, okay? So if we left, if we had left, if I had, I wouldn't have forgotten her birthday. I wouldn't have forgotten her birthday. And 5, he didn't listen. If he'd listened to the explanation, he'd be able to do the homework. Let's check again. Yeah, now it's right. So the problem was the contractions, right? But the answers were correct. Remember, guys, if, for example, number 2, if you wrote in your book or notebook, if we had left, no problems at all. It's perfectly correct. Same thing. We would not be, no problems, correct as well. Just remember that when people are talking, right, usually it's much more natural to use contractions, right? Because it makes our speech faster, okay? Now, if you want to continue, so well done for this part, okay? Going back here, if you want to continue practicing this mixed conditionals topic, you can do this challenge here of number 4. If you want, you can talk to a classmate and try to do it together as a competition, right? Or it can be a personal challenge. You need to set up 2 minutes, okay? And you need to think as many conditional sentence, mixed conditional sentences as you can in these 2 minutes. And then you can use this prompt over here. So if I was, I would have. Or you can change. If I had been done something, I would be do something. Okay? But if you want to continue and challenge yourself. If not, that's all for now. And we'll be back later to practice a little bit of pronunciation. Okay? So thank you very much and see you soon. Bye!